Welcome dear students for the second lecture in Applied Thermal Engineering Unit 1 Formation of Steam. So in the previous class we have seen the introduction part and we have gone through how the steam is formed at constant pressure. Along with that we have seen this diagram. We have taken 1 liter of water, 1 kg of water at 0 degree centigrade in a cylinder and piston arrangement and seen how the steam is formed until it is superheated. So we will continue our discussion further and see what are the 3 different types of steam, that is wet steam, dry steam and superheated steam in today's class, and then continue our discussions further. So conditions of steam. So the steam exists in 3 different forms, that is the steam exists in 3 forms: wet steam, dry steam and superheated steam. So when we call it as wet steam, when we call it as dry steam and when we call it as superheated steam, let us see these 3 steams. So before seeing that, let us see how the steam is formed by using HS, HT or HS diagram, what we call it as temperature enthalpy diagram. So we are taking water at 0 degree centigrade, 1 kg of water in the cylinder, it is heated. So when it is heated, what happens? The temperature of the water goes on increasing until it reaches this boiling point, which is known as saturation temperature. I repeat, the temperature of the water increases from 0 degree centigrade to boiling point at that given pressure, and this temperature is known as saturation temperature. We use the symbol Tsat. After this, when I start heating this water, when it has reached this saturation temperature, there is going to be change in phase taking place. The liquid water is converted into gaseous form in the form of steam, that is from 1 to 2, where heat is added. And this heat which is added, I am coming to these terms later. So at this same temperature of T saturation or saturation temperature, what happens? The heat is added to it. So when the heat is added, there is going to be change in phase taking place. The liquid phase is converted into gaseous phase. So from this gaseous phase, right, at point 2, this water which is converting into steam, right, you have water particles in suspension from 1 to 2. It exists in 2 phases, which is known as wet steam. This 2 phase mixture from 1 to 2, when it reaches this point 2, the water molecules in suspensions are not present, or it becomes dry, which is known as a dry saturated steam. I repeat, it is known as dry saturated steam. And from this temperature, that is saturation temperature at this point 2, when I start heating this dry saturated steam, the temperature of the steam increases and reaches this point 3. This from 2 to 3 is known as superheated steam. Now 0 to 1, this region is known as sensible heat region. So sensible heat because you are adding the heat, and when the heat is added here, the temperature is increasing. From 1 to 2, when the heat is added to this water, the temperature remains constant, but there is change in phase taking place. So when the change in phase takes place from liquid phase to gaseous phase, this heat added is known as latent heat, or we call it as enthalpy of evaporation or heat of evaporation, that is from point 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 3, when I am adding this heat, this region is called as degree of superheat or heat of superheat. So where the temperature of superheated where the temperature of the dry steam increases to superheated steam. The symbols are from 0 to 1. On this enthalpy it is known as HF. From 1 to 2 we call it as HFG, and from 2 to 3 we use the symbol as H soup. The temperature at 192 is known as saturation temperature. The temperature attained by superheated steam at point 3 is known as temperature of superheat, that is T soup. Now we will see one by one what is the explanation of this diagram. We have just seen this explanation. We will go further with the three types of steam now. So as I said, there are three steams: wet steam, dry steam and superheated steam. The first one is known as wet steam. So what is this wet steam? When the steam contains particles of water in suspension is known as wet steam. So water particles are in suspension, they are suspended with steam. Means it is a mixture of water and steam. That is known as wet steam. That is, the evaporation of water is not complete. The evaporation of water is not complete. The steam at any point on the 1 to 2 in figure is the wet steam. So if you see the diagram there, from 1 to 2, from figure 3, it is known as wet steam. So it is at a saturated temperature, that is what I said, Tsat, at a given pressure, and wet steam does not obey the gas laws. So it does not obey any laws. Hence, it is not a perfect gas. So you cannot apply any gas laws like Boyle's law, Charles' law, Lou-Gesac law or Joule's law. You cannot use any of these laws. This steam does not absorb whole of the latent heat. So it is not absorbing the total heat supplied to it. Then the second term is known as dry saturated steam. Dry saturated steam. Because the steam is saturated and it is dry, so we name it as dry saturated steam. The steam is dry and it is at saturation temperature. Therefore, the word saturated is used here. So now what is this dry saturated steam? When the wet steam is further heated, so when I heat this wet steam further and it does not contain any water particles, then it is known as dry saturated steam. This steam absorbs all the latent heat of evaporation. So whatever heat we are adding to it, it is being absorbed and behaves like a perfect gas. The steam at point 2 is dry saturated steam. So this point 2, and from 1 to 2, which is shown here, is nothing but it is this wet steam region or two-phase region where it exists in both the phases. At 1 it is totally saturated liquid, it is totally liquid here, and at point 2 it is totally dry, that is it is total steam. We call it as dry saturated steam. The third term is known as superheated steam. When the dry steam is further heated at constant pressure, which increases the temperature of the steam, always we are doing it at constant pressure, and thereby what is happening? The temperature of the steam increases. It is known as superheated steam. This steam is known as what? Superheated steam. Since the pressure is constant, therefore the volume of the superheated steam increases. The volume of 1 kg of superheated steam is greater than the volume of dry saturated steam at the same pressure. So what happens? Superheated steam का वॉल्यूम कभी भी ज्यादा रहता है, ड्राई सैचुरेटेड स्टीम से ज्यादा रहता है. The steam at any point on the curve 2 to 3 is superheated. On the curve 2 to 3, you can see here the curve 2 to 3 is known as superheated steam. And this steam obeys gas laws and it is a perfect gas. This steam is what? It is a perfect gas. Then let us see what are the next advantages of superheated steam. Why we have to use only superheated steam? Advantages of superheated steam. First, it contains more heat and hence its capacity to do work can be increased without increasing its pressure. So you can get more work done from this steam. Therefore, we are using steam in our house to cook food. Why? It consumes less gas and the cooking is done faster in a pressure cooker. You are saving the time, you are saving the fuel, and it is being done at constant pressure. Therefore, the amount of heat generated is more and you are saving the fuel. The second one, superheating is done by waste furnace gases. So I can use waste furnace gases to what? To increase the temperature of superheated steam. Then high temperature of superheated steam increases thermal efficiency of the boiler. So where we are using this steam? We are using the steam in the boiler, which we are discussing in the next chapter, that is in the next unit. So what happens? Its thermal efficiency increases. Then because of superheat, heat losses due to condensation of steam on engine cylinder walls can be avoided to the greater extent. So when I am using the superheated steam, what happens? The temperature drop, and due to this temperature drop, if there is heat loss, this heat loss is minimal because condensation does not take place. Why condensation does not take place? The temperature is more than boiling point of the water. So steam does not get condensed and converted into wet steam or water molecules because the temperature is more than its boiling point or saturation temperature. These are the 4 advantages of superheated steam. Next we will see the next part, that is steam formation at constant pressure with temperature versus enthalpy diagram. So I am using TH diagram, temperature enthalpy diagram. The process of steam formation can also be explained with temperature enthalpy diagram as shown in figure. So this is the TH diagram, temperature enthalpy diagram. Now with this diagram I can explain the formation of steam. So I am taking water at 0 degree centigrade, which is at point A. From here I am increasing the temperature of water, 1 kg of water, to what temperature? Saturation temperature, that is Tsat. That Tsat temperature. So when I heat this water, what happens? Temperature of the water increases. So there is increase in temperature from 0 degree centigrade to saturation temperature, or what you call it as boiling point. So you reach this point B. The temperature of the water increases at a given pressure. Then from here what I do? I again supply heat to this water. The liquid water is converted into steam in a gaseous state. That is dry saturated steam from B to C. The temperature is remaining constant, and this phase region is called as two-phase region or water and steam region. And from here at point C, when I start further heating, when I have reached this saturation temperature, that is dry saturated steam, which is at saturation temperature Tsat. If I further heat this, what happens? The temperature of this dry saturated steam increases and it becomes superheated steam. You can see from B to C. This is at a given pressure P1. Similarly, if I increase this pressure from P to P1, or initially if I take this as P1, P2, P3, or P if I call it as initially. From P pressure, I increase it to P1 pressure. So again I start with point A at 0 degree centigrade. At pressure P1, when I am supplying heat to this water at 0 degree centigrade, the temperature of the water increases. The temperature of this water increases from A to E. I repeat, the temperature of the water increases from A to E. So when it increases, what happens? E is your saturation temperature. From this point E, what happens? I am further heating it. The liquid water is converted into dry saturated steam at this point F at a given pressure P1. And from there, again if I further heat this, the temperature of this dry saturated steam from F increases to G. So the curve will be A, E, F, G for pressure P1. So initially for pressure P, the curve is A, B, C, D. Similarly, if I increase the pressure further from P1 to P2, then A, K, L, M will be the curve. That is, A to K will be your sensible heat. Then K to M will be latent heat. And then from L to M will be heat of superheat or degree of superheat. Similarly, for the previous cases, if for pressure P, A to B is your sensible heat, then B to C is the latent heat, and C to D is nothing but degree of superheat. Similarly, for pressure P1, A to E is sensible heat, then E to F is latent heat, which is in two-phase region, and then from F to G is the amount of superheat or degree of superheat or heat of superheat. And the line from A to N, which you see here, is known as liquid line, that is saturated liquid line. The line from N to Q is known as the dry saturated line or dry saturated steam. So here from N to N to Q, whatever you find here on this line, it is always dry saturated steam. And beyond this line, whatever you find here upwards, which I am showing with a red pen, is known as superheated region. So the region below this dome, within this dome, is known as wet region or two-phase region, or it is written here water steam region. Above this line, that is A to N line, whatever you find here, this is known as subcooled region. It is known as what? Subcooled region. And the point N, where A to N and N to Q intersect, this point is known as critical point, which we are discussing shortly. I repeat, this point N is known as critical point, where the liquid line and dry saturated line both join together. Then we will see what is this saturated steam and dry saturated steam. So the saturated steam results when the water is heated to boiling point, that is within sensible region, that is sensibility is added to it, and then vaporized when additional heat, that is with additional heat if I add it, it is known as saturated steam. Then we will see what is this saturation temperature. The temperature at which water starts boiling. So if the water starts boiling, that temperature is known as saturation temperature or saturated temperature. Then saturation pressure. The pressure at which a liquid boils into its vapor phase is known as saturation pressure. Is known as what? Saturation pressure. Then the third term is known as saturation liquid. The saturated or saturation temperature is the temperature for the corresponding saturation phase at which the liquid boils into vapor. And the liquid can be said to be saturated with thermal energy. This is known as saturated liquid. So what we are doing here? At saturation temperature, at this corresponding saturation pressure, if the liquid starts to boil, then we call it as saturation liquid. This is all for today's class. So in the next class, we will see what is the effect of pressure on steam formation, and and then we will take up what is known as critical pressure and critical temperature and properties of steam in the next class. Thank you.